The second SPAR Women's Challenge Invitational took place in Greenpoint, Cape Town, on a cool, wind-free day perfect for fast running. The small field of elite runners warmed up on the blue synthetic track in the shadow of the giant soccer stadium. The pro clubs were there, including the boxer runners in their trademark red and black. Sadly missing from their number was Grnd Zaba, who finished second in Pietermaritzburg. The team manager, Rain Swanepoel, explains.
With the SPAR in Pietermaritzburg, I must be honest, I wasn't too aware of it, but afterwards she was limping and she was complaining quite badly about the 3 laps downhill coming into the... And apparently it was quite severe at the down, but I think there was a niggling injury that was carrying, and that was just the clinical. But I got a message from Grnd this morning, and she says we'll see her in Durban SPAR.
SPAR's Elsabe van Sail and Heart FM DJ Rochelle Skeepers, better known as Sugar, took a helicopter flip over the city and the race route. As always, the Fairest Cape put on a great show.
We're very excited for Saturday, and I think all the runners will be excited for Saturday. The SPAR series of Grand Prix races is going to bring a little bit of excitement and road running back to the women of South Africa. And with the 6 series, ours being the second and then 4 after ours, it's going to make a difference hopefully in their lives, and maybe not every single person will walk away with prize money, but there's 2 million rand up for grabs this year, and it's going to make a difference in some people's lives, and that's what we're all about. SPAR is about giving back to the community, for the communities that look after us, and we're looking after the road runners this time.
The changes to the whole structure and organisation of the race were driven by the COVID lockdown rules that limit the total number of people involved. It was a safety issue.
COVID has obviously forced us to look at our protocols, and the protocols are saying no more than 250 athletes, which are elite runners of South Africa. This is the creme of the creme. These are runners that we've seen all over South Africa doing their thing, and we are proud to be hosting them in the beautiful mother city. And yeah, we're looking forward to a fantastic race day. Yes, it's going to be Greenpoint, Mooly Point and Granger Bay, and it's around that area, and it's going to be exciting. It's a flat route, which means it's going to be a fast route, and South Africa's top runners are going to do their thing on Saturday, and we're excited to hear and see what the times are going to be like. I think Saturday is all about running limitless, and Cape Town is full of limitless ideas, and I think we are ready for a great road race. SPAR's most beautiful road race.
That set the scene for what promised to be an exciting contest, and the atmosphere was tense as a small group of elite runners set off on their journey. They raced along the iconic blue Greenpoint track, well aware of the high stakes in play. Massive prize money for this race, plus the important SPAR Grand Prix points available to runners who finish in the first 25. Most of these runners would be targeting a finishing time of under 40 minutes, but the really fast times would come from the international level athletes hoping for a sub 34 on the fast course. And the elite of the elite today was Tadu Nare, the 20-year-old Ethiopian runner who had won so convincingly in Pietermaritzburg in the first SPAR Women's Challenge of 2021. After less than 2 minutes of running, she was already well ahead. It was clear that Nare was after a really fast time. She was full of confidence after Maritzburg, and in these conditions a personal best and world-class time of around about 32 minutes was possible. Effectively, everyone else was running for second place. Mkosi Mshlongo of Hollywood Bets led the chasing pack, with Patience Morowi, Fortunate Chidzivo, Lebo Palula and Zintle Ziniwe close behind. 20 runners were within 5 seconds of Mshlongo as they went past the soccer stadium. Nare is no stranger to the SPAR Grand Prix, having finished second behind Namibian superstar Hilalia Johannes in 2019. But today she was in a class of her own, going out at just over 3 minutes per kilometre. After 1 kilometre the gap over the chasers was 20 seconds, but on the track the age group runners were about to start. COVID regulations make separate starts compulsory to limit the number of runners together on the road. These athletes include the juniors, which are 19 years and younger, plus 40, 50, 60 and 70 plus year categories. The second wave started 3 minutes after the first group, leaving the road wide open. Up front, it was one-way traffic as Tadunare simply ran away from everyone. The East African countries of Kenya and Ethiopia have produced scores of world-class distance runners in the past 30 years. Tadunare is therefore following in the footsteps of many others.
Here she comes!
SPAR Challenge ambassador Keso Malatsani gave her view of the new two-lap route.
I'm happy with the route. It's a different one altogether, but it's still flat, relatively very flat. So I'm happy that we could at least just go twice and not 3 times like in Pietermaritzburg. But I'm happy with the conditions. I'm happy with with the flat route, if I must say. But I was a little bit concerned with the cold in the morning because halfway through the race I was still very cold. So I'm really happy with myself.
Back on the road, the age group runners were now settling down. These were women ranging in age from under 19 to over 70, all of them at the top of the local rankings. They were heading out past the soccer stadium on their first lap. Tadunare was now out of sight of the chasing pack. The young Ethiopian, running in the colours of Nedbank Ethiopia, ran a personal best time 2 weeks earlier in Maritzburg on a slowish course. In these conditions, a much faster time was possible. She now had an unassailable lead and was basically running against the clock. A 25,000 Rand prize and another 25 SPAR Grand Prix points, in addition to a personal best time, looked likely today. We're still in Cape Town and move across the city to Newlands Forest under the steep cliffs of Table Mountain. Tanith Maxwell grew up and learned how to run successfully across in KwaZulu-Natal, where she raced for many years in the SPAR Grand Prix. She now lives here in Cape Town, where her running career has continued. Now in the over 40 veteran category, her life has changed completely.
Being able to make use of this incredible mountain right here and these forests and trails is second to none, and I love that. I really do love that about living in Newlands and being able to step out the door for a run and literally within a kilometre you're into the forest. So that's great, and I will never take that for granted.
Tanith has deep family roots in the world of distance running. It was almost automatic that she would follow suit.
My parents were both very keen long distance runners, both taking part in 2 Oceans, Comrades, etc. So I was pulled into the sport at a very young age, and it's something that's just been part of my life from then. And at kind of school level, I was competing at the shorter distances, but I was always drawn to the longer distances as such. I can even remember as a young girl, I never wanting to know how fast I'd gone, but how far I'd gone. So I always knew I was going to grow into the marathon quite quickly.
Professor Andrew Bosch is a renowned sports scientist who is now both Tanith's life partner and her coach.
One of the unique things about Tanith is probably starts with the way she got into the sport in the first place, in that she was a talented youngster and got encouragement from her parents but wasn't pushed. An athlete that is pushed too hard, too soon, they might have a short career at the highest level, as a junior maybe, and that's where it ends. I mean, you've got to have the will to train as well as having the genetics if you're wanting to get to the highest level. So, you know, that comes together in various ways, and in Tanith it obviously came together pretty well. She's the only athlete ever to have done a top 10 Comrades, an Olympics, a Commonwealth Games and World Championships. So that's fairly unique.
The highlights of my career, one of them has to be coming into the finish of the Olympic marathon. You kind of got Buckingham Palace behind you, running down the mall, and you know you're coming into finish an Olympic marathon, you're now going to be Olympian. And I think that kind of goes through your head and you're running on clouds, and yeah, that is one of my real memorable moments. And then running my first Comrades marathon. Comrades itself was more exciting to me, I used to say it as a little kid, more exciting to me than Christmas Day. It was the pinnacle of my year. And to line up and finally do my first Comrades was really exciting, and for it to have gone so well and to have debuted with a 4th position, I think, coming into the finish was also incredibly memorable for me.
Although perhaps better known as a marathon runner, Tanith also made her mark in the SPAR series on many occasions.
The SPAR series has been an amazing boost for women's running in South Africa. I've been very fortunate, belonging to the Boxer Athletic Club. I've been able to race all the main series around the country, and it gives you that opportunity to really race hard, race against the top girls in the country. It's just grown over the years, and the times, if you're not running 34 minutes, you're not going to be in the top 10. So the depth has improved so much, and it's exciting to see for the up-and-coming juniors, what will happen for distance running in this country. I will be a runner till I can't run anymore.
Talking about up-and-coming young runners, they were out in force across the city in the SPAR Grand Prix second leg. Kesa Molitsani in the yellow colours of Marion Roberts was now in a group of 8 in the chase pack that was approaching the 3-kilometre mark, still on the first lap. Kesa has completed a lengthy recovery from injury.
I have been struggling with this, the same leg for years now, but now I think it resurfaced last year and earlier this year, so it really drew me back in terms of training and everything else. I think last week it got worse, and I was out of action for like a week now, so this is my first run after a week, so I'm looking forward to my next race, and I'm hoping it will be getting better, and I'll be at my tops in Durban.
The chasing group was slowly breaking up under the pressure of a fast pace. Behind the Kesa group we had Zintle Zaniwe with Stella Marais close behind her. The runners were now on Beach Road in Mooley Point on their first lap. Then came a group including Kyla Jacobs, Sean Oldknow and Anel to Blanche. Marion Roberts with the yellow kit and Nedbank in green once again dominated the club competition. Zintle Zaniwe is one of the most consistent road runners to have come out of Western Province in the last 15 years, but today she was battling to stay ahead of the chasers, with Nedbank's Stella Marais already past her. Marais now found herself in a vacuum, alone on the road, a tough place to be. The group ahead chasing Nare was somewhat distant and coming round to start their second lap. Moritsani, Chitsivo, Maroe, the two Palula twins and Sosibo from the University of Johannesburg were still battling for second place. Although a long way behind the race leader, Moritsani and the others were still running fast enough to target the sub-35-minute barrier, a solid national performance time. With the stadium in sight, they were moving towards their second lap, and immediately Chitsivo and Moritsani surged, causing the group to break up. Only Lebo and Lebogong Palula were able to stay in touch. Tadu Nare was in her own private little world with a lead of more than 90 seconds, massive in the context of an elite race. And she was still only at the halfway stage. Her personal best time in Pietermaritzburg was 32:23, but today that looked like being smashed as she passed halfway in under 16 minutes. Nore is preparing for a marathon in November and using these SPAR Grand Prix races as speed training. But there's a big difference between a fast 10K and a fast marathon, especially for a young runner. Time will tell. Nick Bester is her manager.
She's training for a marathon in November, and that's why she went out fast today. She thinks she used the SPAR races for good training and speed training for the marathon. And she said that the altitude in Ethiopia and the food there is excellent for distance running, and that is why the Ethiopians and the Kenyans are so good. They're training at altitude, eat healthy, and then they come to sea level, who is idle for much more oxygen here, and it actually feels very easy to run on sea level while she was training in the mountains in Ethiopia.
The beachfront from the waterfront right up to Sea Point is one of the most iconic places in South Africa and wildly popular for runners of every standard. With Nare well away, the battle for second spot continued as Kessa, Fortunate, Lebo, Stella and Patience stuck together. The professional corporate running clubs have partnered successfully with SPAR for many years, bringing their best athletes to the races. Rain Swanepoel managed one of the big three clubs, Boxer.
We started 16 years ago, and we already then supported the SPAR Ladies Grand Prix series. I think we probably have been going the longest as a single club in the cooperative world. There has been changes, harmonies and the net banks and all of that. Yeah, and it's been brilliant for us. We're still there and we're still continuing. We currently have 27 what we call elite athletes that earn a retainer monthly. All the expenses are paid to all the SPAR Ladies trips that we're doing and selective other races. And then we have about 34, which we call semi-elite.
The back markers in the first group were at the end of their 5-kilometre loop, but they were being caught by the leading runner in the age group pack, which started 3 minutes later. Not surprisingly, this was Shanae Bosman, the first over 40 runner and winner in Pietermaritzburg. One runner not evident in the chase pack earlier was Sean Oldknow. Up-and-coming Marion Roberts runner had this to say about the SPAR Grand Prix.
The SPAR Grand Prix, I think, holds a lot of value for women's athletics in South Africa. I think it's a really good platform for allowing women to get more race opportunities. I think in South Africa we really need to create more depth for our long-distance running, and I think this creates a really good platform for it. And it's nice to have race opportunities like this when there haven't been races for most of the year.
She was now into the final 3 kilometres, and Oldknow was racing hard. She was steadily catching the Kessa Malatsani chase pack and had clearly left a lot of power for the final part of the race. Her first victim was Zimbabwean Patience Maroe, whom she passed at the 8-kilometre mark with 2 Ks to go. Then she sets her sight on Malatsani, Chizivo and Palula. This was classic tactical running. With plenty in reserve, she simply ran past all of them, their faces reflecting a combination of surprise and despair. Now the question was, who could stay with her? And the question was answered immediately, Kessa Malatsani. The race for second place was on. In the big picture of the race, though, these two were only chasing minor podium places. The real action was an amazing 900 metres ahead, as Tadu Nare, unhindered by any competition and running a solo time trial, stormed towards the finish. Under COVID rules, there were no spectators to witness her spectacular win. This was a huge pity, as she ended up running the 6th fastest 10-kilometre time by any woman ever in South Africa. Looking as fresh as a daisy with determination written all over her face, the young woman from Ethiopia, running in the green of Nedbank, won the 2021 SPAR Grand Prix with a time of 31 minutes and 27 seconds. She won by nearly 3 minutes, or about a kilometre on the road from a strong field, the best South Africa could find on the day. And the world of road running will now certainly sit up and take notice of Tadu Nare.
Tadu ran exceptionally good time today, and she just feeling that she could have gone much faster. She said that in the first 2 to 3 kilometers she lost some time because due to the cold she didn't warm up properly for this cold weather. But I think this cold weather, she said, also helped her to run faster at the end. So it's ideal, perfect running weather to run a good time. She's supposed to do a marathon in October, but because of the SPAR races, her coach decided to push the marathon forward in November so that she'll be able to run all the SPAR races in South Africa and go for a series win. But I can just add that next week in Durban, Hilalia Johannes, the previous series winner, is coming to run in Durban as well. So we could expect an excellent race in Durban next week, and if the conditions is fine, they can maybe produce the same time as Cape Town.
The battle for second place went to Kessa Malatsani, who managed to find her trademark speed on the track to outpace Sean Oldknow. Marion Roberts' team manager Dana Kutsia was on hand to congratulate Hughes 2 champions. Fortunate Chidzivo claimed 4th spot ahead of Patience Morowi and Diana Lebo Palula.
I'm really happy with what I've achieved this morning. I wasn't really looking forward to coming here because of, injuries, but I think I must be proud of myself for what I've achieved this morning. I was actually just looking into being tactical in the race, just to maintain the position. So it wasn't really about fast times to this morning. It was just more about position. So I'm really happy with myself.
It's still a little bit surreal. I'm quite excited though. I think I'm going to be on a little bit of a high for the rest of the day. I had a really, really good race. I went into it feeling quite strong. I went out a little bit faster than we had planned. I spoke to my coach last night and we had a race plan. I went out a little bit faster than we planned, but I felt really, really good. So going into 6 kilometers, I knew that I had a little bit in me to try catch the ladies that were still in front of me.
The winner's time was spectacular, nearly 3 minutes ahead, and the 6th fastest ever in South Africa. The top 8 broke 35 minutes in a classy race. Sean Oldknow's surge at the end was a standout feature. The first junior home was Alandri Schmidt of Athletes Academy, just behind Lebechong Palula. One by one they finished as the clock ticked towards 40 minutes. Then came one of the best runs of the day when Judy Bird finished first over 60-year runner in 40:19, a brand new South African age group record. Amazingly, Judy Bird beat the first over 50 runner, Elmarie Pretorius, by 21 seconds. Junior Landry Smith ran 37:57. Shanae Bosman won her second consecutive over 40 title in 35:32, while Judy Bird's 40:20 rewrote the record books. After 2 races in the SPAR Grand Prix, Tardinore has 50 points, Minotsani 46, while Chidzivo and Oldknow are separated by just 2 points. At the same time, and on the same day, the huge SPAR Virtual Challenge was taking place, and some of these runners and walkers chose the Sea Point beachfront to do their virtual run. Fun and games, happy laughter, and lots of excited waving from these virtual runners. All told, there were 60,000 of them out there, all over the country.
It's going well. Nice. See you. Oh, well, it's our own little
We
race.
just started, so
It's great.
The scaled-down prize giving took place with Elmarie Pretorius in the 50 to 59-year category. Judy Bird proudly accepted her medal for the over 60 brigade, while Elandri Schmidt and Shanae Bosman also accepted their gold medals. Finally, we saw race winner Tardinore, with Kesa Minotsani and Sean Oldknow receiving their just rewards for a job well done.